living Maryland Republican governors here today. So you all know the story. It didn't start out well. I was a young activist and I supported Dave Smick in '84. And she didn't like me. She hated me, actually. And then after a few years, once she got to know me, she really hated me. Because she would tell her staff, Ehrlich wants to see, you know, he's got an house in the 2nd district in his office. She also hated my girlfriends. And she would tell them and me that she hated them. And couldn't I do better than this? And what the hell, Ehrlich? And then Kendall came around. And I'll never forget the loving words of how I love the Polish girl, keep her, she's a cutie. Just like you told me. So that began a courtship. And it was sort of an unusual courtship because it was a 3-way. It was Helen, Kendall, and myself. And and so it was a sort of unusual courtship because it wasn't dates. It wasn't like a double date, but it was dates at the house, at her house. And they were sort of unusual because they were usually after 11, after midnight. And I would take my girlfriend, Kendall Sabisky, over, and she would usher me, Kendall, to the basement, and then she would have a list of chores for me to do, which usually consisted of moving heavy objects from point A to point B. Which really pissed me off right away. I guess I was young and strong. And Kendall would sit there, then she'd offer, food from cocktail parties on Capitol Hill that had been in the refrigerator for 4 weeks and they couldn't even recognize, and offer it to you like she was doing something for you. So, it was an interesting time, and they were events, nights, lessons that I'll never forget, because I would sit there after I moved stuff, and we would sit there at the early hours of the morning, and this is all true, and she would sit there and lecture and teach me on the port of Baltimore, on how the port ran, on the people and the history and the importance, and it was a great history lesson. And I took notes, I listened. And I'll never forget those nights. Not the best romantic date for my girlfriend at the time, but it was nights we'll never forget, and lessons I never forgot as a member of the congressional delegation that Senator Mikulski referred to. So it was a neat time and a great relationship that built, and I knew, by the way, the relationship had come full circle when a few years later I married Kendall and we got a call and said, "What kind of lawyer's Kendall?" And she got caught again speeding. You know the story about her telling the federal police that she was going to Congress when she got caught one time, except the cop knew Congress wasn't in session that day. So I said, she's a darn good one, Helen. So Kendall went with her to traffic court, and Kendall got up and says, "We plead guilty, Your Honor." And Helen turns to Kendall and says, "Why'd you plead me guilty?" Which you responded?
"You were guilty."
Yeah. So, pro bono representation, by the way. So here we are today, and it's a room full of people that both love and fear her, not in that order. And I just have to say, thinking about this and this crowd, some of these wonderful people who served Maryland for so many years, there's a few that are just larger than life. They suck the wind out of the air. And clearly, Louis was one. And we remember Louis, and anybody that went to the Maryland General Assembly, and Louis Goldstein was just one of a kind. And of course, William Donald Schaefer. He was also scared of Kendall, which helped me a lot. But these are larger-than-life figures. They dominated Maryland politics for 50, 60 years, and that's a very small group. It's a very short list, and I think it's fair to say all of us believe that Helen Bentley rightfully belongs on that list. And Helen, we love you. Thank you all for being here. And for those of us who grew up in Bentley world, among the many good things that you did, we will always be grateful for the honor you gave Helen in naming the port after her. So thank you, Governor.